Item number SCP-300. Index Wandering Orb of Erasure. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Item SCP-300 cannot be contained. It is left to wander. All observation to this point has shown that it will not venture further than 10 meters from the first point of discovery. SCP-300 was discovered in an impact crater on October 26, 2001. The crater has a radius of 15 meters. Any attempts at containment have proved futile. When a test subject attempts to touch the item, they cease to exist. Any and all electronic records of them cease to exist. Nothing remains that proves the test subject ever existed. Any attempt to place housing over the crater resulted in a similar effect. All personnel on site that day were erased from reality. Scientist
Expunged.
has speculated that they were erased on a quantum level. Description: SCP-300 is an orb of an unknown material. It is visually identical to obsidian. Attempts to test its composition have, obviously, failed. It rolls gently around but does little else. Upon approach, the orb vibrates slightly. Agents who have been in the crater with the item report a sense of overwhelming joy and euphoria. Long-term effects are completely unknown at this time. Further study will be conducted. Addendum SCP-300-A. New studies have confirmed that the subjects truly are gone. Memory is the only form that seems to be unaffected by the object. It is, however, impossible to tell if the test subjects ever existed in the first place. More studies to be conducted. Addendum SCP-300-B. After further investigation, it was discovered that any physical written records of the victims that disappeared have vanished as well. Copies of birth certificates and driver licenses in the central office have gone missing as well. When any personnel who ever knew or came into contact with the victims is questioned about them, they distinctively remember that person, what they looked like, and even things like what the color of their shirt was the last time they met. Questioned subjects have, at times, admitted that they feel as though they remember the victim in question too well. Addendum SCP-300-C. Even without records, investigators managed to locate the biological mother of one of the victims. The widow mother, Mrs. spent several hours talking about her only child, Dr. In detail, she spoke about his life growing up, his achievements, and what he looked like growing up. Mrs. is suffering from severe late-stage Alzheimer and is currently under assisted living. At times, she mistook one of the questioners for her late husband. When asked to see any photos of her son, she explained the fact that she seemed to have misplaced them, even though she distinctively remembered having many pictures of her son. A complete search of her apartment was made, and still no physical documents or photos of Dr. were found. Addendum SCP-300-D. All the documentation of SCP-300's research team is now under 24-hour surveillance by both closed-circuit cameras and 3 Level 1 personnel in rotating shifts. Addendum SCP-300-E. We now have more theories on SCP-300's abilities. SCP-300 may not have erased the victims, but simply displaced everyone who knew the victim into another space-time where they never existed, although, in all senses of the word, should have. Although this still does not explain the disappearance of the containment field. Addendum SCP-300-F. Another, more disturbing and plausible theory is that SCP-300 has injected the memories of these people and the failed attempts to enclose it into the minds of all the people who knew the victims or witnessed the events. We currently have no records of the attempt to enclose SCP-300 by the research team anywhere. It may be that SCP-300 is bending the wills of us all through the manipulation of our thoughts. Addendum SCP-300-G. Research for SCP-300 has now been placed under psychological supervision after recent interrogations about the possibility that the events that transpired around SCP-300 never occurred. Research team members have become hostile and physically violent during questioning, and until further notice are to be held in Site-13's medical ward. All personnel who came into contact with the victims are to have their monthly performance reports reviewed by a Level 2 supervisor. Any abnormalities noticed in these reports are to be reported immediately to Dr. Kainer.